Hi all, here at osmvtxreviews.com. You're watching our video review of the Motorola Lapdock, exclusive for the Motorola Atrix 4G for AT&T service, and this is a pretty interesting device. The Lapdock is basically a laptop companion for the Motorola Atrix. What it does is it transforms the phone into a semi-functional, full-blown PC or laptop device, and it's very interesting in that regard. It comes priced at $499 separately, so it's quite expensive for a accessory product. But if you are looking for something that's interesting and something that's going to expand the functionality of your smartphone by a lot, especially if you want something with a larger display, then a Motorola Atrix Lapdock will be an interesting companion for you to purchase. In terms of construction quality, it's made entirely out of rubber and as well as metal, so it feels extremely good in the hand. It's a little bit reminiscent in terms of design of the MacBook Air, and that's a really good thing because it's got a very premium feel to it. In addition, it looks extremely thin at its thinnest parts. The device is basically just a monitor plus a keyboard and a dock and a battery for the product itself, because there are no internals in the lapdock. Instead, it uses the memory and the processor on the phone to power what you see on the screen. However, there is a little bit of a twist. After you put the phone into the dock, instead of seeing just a traditional Android home screen, you do get to experience a little bit more of a more laptop-like experience. Taking a look, on the bottom of the device, we have access to an indicator that tells us how much battery life we have out of 5 bars. And on the left and right edges, we have stereo speakers for listening to music, which are a lot better than the one built onto the phone. On the back of the product, we have 2 USB 2.0 ports for expanding the memory of the handset and also plugging in additional accessories. We also have a charger for the device. And that's pretty much it. In order to set the phone in here, we just unplug this little dock area, and we just set in the phone to the HDMI port and also the micro USB connection slot. And it will sit in like so, and after we flap open the screen, it will automatically turn on. So again, a very interesting concept, and we are very intrigued by what Motorola has done here. It seems again like a very cool concept to just get into. And overall, again, it's a pretty interesting twist. On the insides of the handset, you see that it still looks very much like a MacBook Air, and that's because you have an island-style, chiclet-style keyboard that is very much spring-assisted and spring-loaded. It's a very solid keyboard, and it's full-size in terms of, being able to press all the buttons and stuff, and it feels extremely good when you're typing on it. We had no issues with transitioning between this keyboard and a real PC keyboard, and we felt that, again, Motorola did a great job with the keyboard integration. The rest pad for your palms are also made entirely out of metal, so it feels great when you're using it. The touchpad itself is also made out of a very nice and large capacitive sensor that measures around 3.8 inches diagonally, so it's a large touchpad. You also have a LED indicator to tell you if the touchpad is on or off. Double tapping this will automatically disable the touchpad. Pressing again will allow you to use it again. The actual clickers are a one-piece clicker set. They're a little bit stiff for my taste because they aren't 2 separate buttons, but rather just one connected button. I would have liked to see these as separate keys, but it works well nevertheless. As far as the touchpad goes, I found that it worked pretty well. However, I did find it a little bit annoying sometimes because it was a little bit too large for comfort. And what I say by this is when I'm resting my hands on here and I'm typing away on the keyboard, my palms would accidentally hit the edges of the touchpad and the cursor would go crazy and click on accidental links. So it was a little bit jumpy when I was using the touchpad, simply because when I'm typing, my palms have to rest on it, and that kind of moves around the cursor on the screen. Otherwise, a pretty nice design here. The display itself is made out of a LCD screen that it composes of 11.6 inches diagonally. It's pretty bright and vibrant. We didn't have any viewing angle issues, and it has a great resolution to it. You'll see that after the device is turned on, you're greeted to this main screen. I was currently browsing the web, and that's what you currently see here, but I'm going to take that down, and you see that the traditional screen when you are first greeted, first turn the device on, is like this. You get a small window-like icon or a glimpse into what you would usually see if you are using your phone, and thus this is your traditional Android experience, including your home screens and your applications as they are displayed on your handset. The larger screen here is a more computerized version that's been designed for the laptop exclusively, including a new wallpaper, more information about the wireless information. Also, you have a set of new applications and icons that dominate the bottom of the device that take you to advanced functionalities that take advantage of the large screen and the built-in keyboard. For example, you have an entertainment dock, which again takes advantage of the fact that you have a larger screen, and you'll be able to watch TV shows, preloaded movies and content a lot more easier in a larger and more beautiful way. For example, again, you can see videos, pictures, and music in this view. I'm just going to get out of this by pressing exit. Overall, the lap dock is a pretty nice companion. I would say that performance-wise, it's about the same as a Android-based netbook. In that regard, it isn't too strong. Speeds are pretty good. It has of course, it runs on the Atrix dual-core 1 GHz processor, which is more than enough to browse the web and watch a few YouTube videos. But I did find that if I was watching videos, sometimes the processor was a little slow and it was stuttery and it would lag a little bit, which was unfortunate. But otherwise, for most web browsing tasks and reading most web pages, having this larger screen was a true joy to use, especially since it was such a high resolution one. You have a mobile view, which pressing this again takes up your mobile view. If you want to just use the traditional Android home screen to browse around with using just a larger screen here, you can double tap on this and then you'll be just greeted to a larger Android experience. Again, it's a little bit jumpy with the cursor because Android is more designed for touch rather than using an arrow to move around on the screen. I would still prefer a touchscreen to this, of course, but overall it does get the job done, and it does it in a pretty elegant way. Down below here, we have some other features, including a dialer pad, so you can still call people using the lap dock mode, a contacts list, a messaging list, the entertainment center I talked about. You have a file manager, which is exclusive on this product, and you can more easily go through the downloaded applications and downloaded files that you had on this product. You have apps for WebDock, which is just a link to the web browser and allows you to download more applications that take advantage of the larger screen here. You have a built-in full version of Mozilla Firefox by Mozilla, and it's a pretty nice application. It's basically the same version as you would get if you were on a desktop PC, which is always nice to see. We also have a Facebook application designed for the WebDock experience and an AT&T Uverse, which is another bookmark into a web browser page that allows you to download more applications. And that's pretty much it. On the top here, we have access to your time and also to our wireless information. If I zoom on in here, you can check out more information. The battery indication here is actually not for the battery of the lap dock, but rather it's for the battery of your cell phone. You will notice that when the cell phone is docked into the web dock, it automatically charges it, so it becomes kind of like a secondary charger for your phone that will extend the battery life for around 6 to 10 hours. As far as performance for the lap dock itself, we found that we could use it comfortably for around 4 to 6 hours before we had to recharge it, which is a very long period of battery life that we were pretty impressed with. Pressing over here, we'll find more date information, we'll find more volume information, battery information, turning on and off the wireless information, GPS information, Bluetooth, and of course we have some Wi-Fi information. We also have settings, and we can change the keyboard, mouse, printers, and sleeping the device, which allows it to go into sleep mode, and that's also pretty cool as well. So going back into the browser, which is really the main selling point and the main reason that you would want to purchase a lap dock, we found that Mozilla did a great job of integrating a full desktop version of their product into this smaller, more mobilized netbook-like experience. For example, we found that browsing the web was pretty speedy. There isn't a scroll section on the touchpad, so you have to really click on the sides of the screen to get it to move up and down. And you can see that I was just looking at some face-off creations from last season, and you can see that browsing is pretty good. It's a little bit stuttery and a little bit slow, especially if your page is intense with graphics and text and Flash-based content. It's going to slow down considerably, but I never really had an issue where it crashed fully on me. I just had to wait for a few additional seconds for the full page to load. As far as browsing speeds and transition speeds between different web pages, I found that it was also very adequate. For example, New York Times. If I want to go to New York Times, like so, I would just press on it, And you'll see that over Wi-Fi, things are still pretty responsive overall. And of course, you have tab browsing, so you can open different tabs and still have that work pretty well as well. Let's see if it's loading now. You notice that on this full version of Mozilla, we also have some Google search bar on the right hand side where we can just directly launch into Google searches for quick and easy access. And you can see here that the New York Times loaded to the full version of the page instead of a mobile version because we are using a professional and full version of the browser. And again, Flash content loads and video loads really smoothly, and mostly everything is displayed in a way that you would see it on your desktop, and it's still pretty fluid and responsive. Again, you don't have multi-touch enabled on the touchpad, so in order to zoom in and out, you have to select it using the menus, and that's not as intuitive as using a multi-touch enabled touchpad. But Motorola didn't build that in into the touchpad on this product, unfortunately.